This thing is going to be the death of me. What's going on with you guys? TheCaliEffect, king of games here. Hold on, I gotta get this off. It was the non-hurdy tape for my arm. So today, not only did I take my shot for my rheumatoid arthritis, I also got my blood drawn, or you guys gave me the zombie vaccine and make sure I wasn't a zombie. I'm not 100% sure how this cruel world works, but if this is really the zombie vaccine and this was to make sure I wasn't a zombie, well, you guys already know. Despite this deck being zombies, in this video, I'm going to be showing you some big brain Jane. I'm going to be showing you how Zombie World can be one of the better rogue strategies of this format. So of course, if you want to see more videos like this, then be sure to destroy that subscribe button, but also go ahead and hit that notification bell because, well, we just too strong. Also, if you guys want to see more awesome rogue decks, then go ahead and check out this video right after you watch this deck profile because zombies are that deck. So without further ado, let me show you how much of a thriller the Zombie World deck is. So Eldlich and Zombie World has always had some really good synergy, with Zombie World allowing you to easily proc your Eldlich monster like Golden Lord to your side of the field, and Eldlich in return allowing you to special summon quick zombie monsters to your side of the field during your opponent's turn like Necro Banshee to be able to keep your Zombie World alive. In this version of the deck, we're going to be doing just that, because a lot of decks inside of the Yu-Gi-Oh format cannot survive simply against Zombie World, but we're actually allowed to apply pressure through our Eldlich cards. Starting off with the zombie engine, I think you would be horrified or mummified to find out that I only play 3 copies of Unizombie and no Shiranui Solitaire. Now, I do think that Shiranui Solitaire is an awesome Yu-Gi-Oh card, but in this particular deck, we're not going to be focused on summoning Unizombie and resolving its effect multiple times. To be honest with you guys, I think maximum you'll probably only resolve this card's effect 3 times. While it is a fairly powerful card inside of this deck, I actually focused on not making it the centerpiece, meaning that when I don't draw it, it's perfectly fine, and if I do draw it, oh my god, you're gonna be in for some plays. I decided to back that card up with a card that is blooming in this particular deck. I run 2 copies of Glow Up Bloom as opposed to the standard 1 copy. The reason why is because Glow Up Bloom is actually a fairly good standalone card. You can normal summon it to your side of the field, link it off to a Link Kribo, and search Eldlich the Golden Lord, which could be very good if you need him into your hand. Or if Zombie World is on your side of the field, you can special summon Doom King Valordrock or Eldlich the Golden Lord to your side of the field, which will allow you to activate the second effects of your Black Awakening and your Sanguine. I also realized when you only play 1 Glow Up Bloom, your Unizombie doesn't necessarily have a amazing follow-up. This allows you to be able to resolve your Unizombie more than once in a particular game if you already use it to resolve your Necro Banshee and your Glow Up Bloom. Next, we're going to be playing the card of the hour, only 2 copies of Necro Banshee. Now, a little bit of a spoiler, this deck is confirmed for the YCS Summer Cup. This is actually an updated version on what we played inside of the YCS Summer Cup. I feel very comfortable with 2 copies of Banshee. Now, the reason why is because Banshee is a quick effect. You can banish this card from your field or graveyard to be able to activate Zombie World immediately, and it also provides protection for your already face-up Zombie World. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that this deck is fairly synergistic. You can get the Banshee to your side of the field on your opponent's turn if you really need to get Zombie World to your side of the field, but a little bit more importantly, you can also be able to summon this card on your opponent's turn when they decide to destroy your Zombie World. Moving forward, we only play 1 copy of Doom King Valordrock. You really only need 1 with this particular build, and then 2 copies of Zombie World. Now, one thing that probably will have you scratching your head is only 2 Necro Banshee and only 2 Zombie World. I actually think that this is a really, really solid number. There was a point in time where I was playing 3 Banshee, 3 Zombie World, 3 Banshee, 3 Zombie World, and a Terraforming, and then I started to realize that this deck isn't heavily reliant on Zombie World. It can actually search it fairly easily, but I can completely grind you out and then activate this card at the right times to disrupt you. And I think that this deck is just a little bit more powerful than pure Zombie World, seeing that it's not focused on the field spell, and that's what makes this deck go. The next is going to be the Eldlich engine. Of course, we play 2 copies of our Golden Boy. This guy is amazing. It's just so many cool interactions with this card. Getting this bad boy to your side of the field is amazing. It opens up so many plays, but we'll explain that a little bit later. 3 copies of Curse Outland. This card allows you to pretty much add Eldlich the Golden Lord or any of your Golden Land spell cards. And then I actually play 1 copy of 7 Cities of the Golden Land. This is a card that not a lot of players play. Now, the reason why I love this card is not only because it's searchable through Cursed Outland, you can fusion summon any fusion monster to your side of the field as long as you're using zombie monsters. There was actually a time where I fused my Necroroll Banshee and my Glow Up Bloom in testing, spelled summon a Starving Venom to my side of the field, copied my opponent's monster effect, and then rid their board. Of course, on top of that, I even got the effects of Glow Bloom and Necroroll Banshee. It was just too strong. This card also gets your Eldlich trap cards off the field to the graveyard, which is fairly important from time to time. And then we play 2 copies of Elixir Black Awakening. This card is bananas in this deck. The main reason is since we do play a Zombie World engine, anytime we activate Glow Bloom and Zombie World is on our field, we can summon Eldlich the Golden Lord, meaning that Elixir Black Awakening literally allows us to summon any zombie monster we want to our side of the field. And then also it allows us to spell summon Eldlich the Golden Lord if in case we want to fuse it off for a Mad Golden Lord, because that card's a lot better than what people think. Now I'm going to move these cards out of the way because we do play a lot of Eldlich trap cards. We play 3 copies of Elixir Scarlet Sanguine, we play 3 copies of Conquistador, and we play 3 copies of Wakero. Now I completely butchered those Yu-Gi-Oh card names. I feel like I used to know how to say them, but I don't know what happened. You could say maybe I lost my brains in that situation. Now these are the only trap cards that I decided to play in this deck. At one point in time, I was playing Solemn Strike. I decided to drop it for hand traps because I noticed that this deck really wants to keep the tempo against other strategies, and Solemn Strike is a great card, but doesn't allow me to keep the tempo when my opponent is playing. Another thing is that Hakero is actually amazing in a lot of matches because it banishes cards from your opponent's graveyard, while Conquistador is an immediate disruption. Keep in mind the Elixir card allows you to spell summon a zombie monster if you control Eldlich the Golden Lord. So a lot of times what I've noticed is that a player will activate a card like Harpy's Feather Duster or Twin Twisters. What you can do is Elixir your Necroroll Banshee to your side of the field and protect your zombie world. And then even if they do get rid of the zombie world, you can use Banshee's effect to activate another one, which is, it's kind of busted. I also decided against playing Ice Dragon's Prison. I don't think that Ice Dragon's Prison is a good Yu-Gi-Oh card right now, but I'll actually make a video about that very soon. That's it for our Lost Cities of Dorado cards, as well as our zombies. Now we needed to be able to get into our Eldlich Horde zombie engine as fast as possible, and I actually decided to go with Pot of Extravagance over 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. Now I've tested this deck with both Pot of Extravagance and Prosperity, and I feel that Prosperity is a lot better because seeing 2 cards is a little bit better than just seeing 1 card in this particular deck. I actually played quite a few Yu-Gi-Oh cards that require me to lose advantage. Yes, they are game-breaking type Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and Pot of Extravagance helps offset that penalty and allows me to get 2 free cards in my hand and take advantage of an extra deck that I don't heavily rely on. Moving forward, said cards that require a ton of advantage are 3 copies of Super Polymerization. This card is very, very live and always live when you have Zombie World on your side of the field, and then 3 copies of Forbidden Drip. Now for the people that cannot afford Forbidden Drip, my strongest advice would be to play Dark Ruler no more. But the reason why I like this so much is because it sends your Golden Land monsters to the graveyard to be able to use their effects, and of course it allows you to break boards while sending cards like Necroroll Banshee as well as Glow Up Bloom from your hand or field to the graveyard. It's God. I was actually very, very indecisive on what hand traps I would play, but I ultimately decided to go down with 3 copies of Fantastical Dragon Phantasme and 3 copies of Nibiru the Primal Being. Now originally I was playing 3 copies of Ash Blossom and 3 copies of Ghost Spell. I actually really like these cards because they're zombie monsters, and when you have Doom King Baladrock on the field, they activated their effect. And then I moved on to 2 copies of Ash, 2 copies of Ghost Spell, and 2 copies of Ghost Mourner. All 3 of these cards are zombies, which can trigger the effect of your Doom King Baladrock as well. With the added benefit of these cards, if you play 2, 2, and 2, the odds of you seeing 2 of a particular hand trap is a lot lower, and then you still have a pretty good hand impact, as Ghost Bell and Ash Blossom are some of the best hand traps in the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, and Ghost Mourner is a little underrated right now. But I ultimately decided to go with 3 copies of Thanos and 3 copies of Nibiru. I wanted my hand traps to actually make a huge impact in the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, and Nibiru is really good because not only does it give my opponent a super polymerization target that I can just fuse off, don't care about the token that they get, it also allows me to keep the tempo of the board. This deck isn't going to special summon a million times, but strategies that actually do can really hurt this deck, as it does want to slow grind. Nibiru can keep that in check, and Fantastical Dragon Phantasme actually allows me to see all of my power cards like Super Polymerization and Forbidden Droplets, while also providing me a monster to my side of the field that Super Polymerization and Forbidden Droplets can send off. I really felt that these were amazing hand traps to play in this particular deck. And then moving forward for the extra deck, we're going to blaze through this extra deck. It's only 14. I'm gonna give you guys options. One copy of Yuki Ono. This card's amazing if you ever get to summon it. One copy of BLS, Soldier of Chaos. You don't have to play this card. This could be a Boral Sword Dragon, it could be a Yuki Ono, it could be pretty much anything you want. I'd strongly suggest that you play either a second copy of Vampire Sucker or a Vindred Savior. This card is actually bananas. I probably play this as my 15th as a second copy because it can pretty much search any of your zombie monsters. One copy of Predaplant Vert Anaconda, another card that you don't have to play, but Super Polymerization is a thing in this deck, and this gets you a free Super Polymerization. And then another copy of Link Kribo, which is amazing for your Glow of Bloom. That's gonna sum up the Link monsters for the fusions. 2 Mud Dragon, 2 Eldlich, the Mad Golden Lord, 2 copies of Draco Necro, and 2 copies of Starving Venom. Now, I'll play 2, 2, and 2 of these cards strictly because Pot of Extravagance, the odds of you banishing all of them is just very... Actually, it's impossible because it's more than 6, but the odds of you banishing both of one is fairly low. But of course, you're gonna have to shape the extra deck to your Super Polymerization needs. Just some other cards that I really thought about playing as my 15th, other than the desired cards that you guys might want to play another copy for Pot of Extravagance, is World Legacy Guard Dragon Alma Dark, a Super Polymerization for Link. Link Spider, this card's good for getting rid of your Eldlich cards, and Access Code Talker. This is actually just a really powerful card. Understand if a lot of people can't afford it though. But yeah, that's it for the main board and the extra deck. There really isn't a lot of combos, but there's one cool interaction that I have to show you guys with Eldlich Zombies that makes this deck really, really good. So the thing about Eldlich Zombie is that I wouldn't necessarily consider these combos. It has situations that can be addressed with inside of this deck. Like, it's really good when going second, ironically, even though you play 9 traps. And also, if in elongated game state, you can really produce some interesting combos that are just insane. But for all intents and purposes, I'm actually going to show you guys the combos or situations that you can be in to be able to make these particular boards and how the Eldlich deck can be played. Let's say, for example, in this particular instance, my opponent has a card on their side of the field that I want to get rid of. I'm going to have Unizombie and Curse Outling on my side of the field. I'm going to show you something really cool. The first thing I'm going to do is normal summon Unizombie and use its effect to be able to send Glow of Bloom from my deck to the graveyard, and now I'll be able to activate the effect of Glow of Bloom. Normally, it would special summon a zombie monster, but since we don't have Zombie World, I'll add Eldlich the Golden Lord. From here, I'll activate Curse Outland, which will use this effect to be able to add a Waquero from my deck to my hand. And then I'll use Eldlich the Golden Lord, pitching Waquero from my hand to the graveyard to be able to send a card on my opponent's side of the field. I'm not necessarily done, as now I can use Eldlich the Golden Lord to send Curse Outland from my deck to the graveyard, add it to my hand, and then special summon a zombie. And then we can still use Curse Outland to send a card like Conquistador from my deck to the graveyard. So in this particular situation, there are still multiple things we can do. If we have another card that we want to get rid of on our opponents, we can link both of these monsters off for a Predaplant Vert Anaconda, and then we can use Vert to fuse our opponent's card and be good, or we can just keep these 2 monsters on the field. The next cool thing is during the end phase, we can banish Conch and Waquero to be able to set a Black Awakening and a Scarlet Sanguine to our side of the field. And then during our opponent's turn, we can activate the Scarlet to be able to special summon that Necro or Banshee. It's because we control Eldlich the Golden Lord, and then banish our Banshee to be able to activate Zombie World. So as you guys can see, this isn't necessarily a combo, as it was fairly dependent on what my opponent had or if my opponent going first, but you can see how powerful this deck is, even when going second with a ton of traps, because they're technically monsters that can gain us some serious advantage. So for the next combo, I'm gonna put us in another situation. This actually happened in a particular live game that I'm not going to discuss right now, and it's the reason why I feel that Eldlich is just, our Eldlich Zombie World is just heavily slept on. Now, this does look like a 4-card combo, and technically it is, but as I said, Zombie World is really good in that elongated game state. So if we already have a Cursed Outland on our side of the field and we happen to come across these cards, which isn't hard to do while we're playing Eldlich, it'll be fairly easy to do. The first thing I'm going to do is normal summon Zombie World and then use this effect to pitch the Necro Banshee. This could also be Glow Bloom in our hand, but we're going to pitch the Banshee first. and then activate its effect to make Necro or Unizombie 5 and get a zombie, or 4 and get a Unizombie to our side of the field. And then next we're going to use Unizombies' other effect to send Glow Up Bloom from the deck to the graveyard, and then banish Glow Up Bloom to be able to special summon Eldlich the Golden Lord to our side of the field. Next, we can activate Eldlich Black Awakening, which will allow us to special summon Doom King Ballardrock to our side of the field. I know, guys, you could have special summoned the Ballardrock first and then the Eldlich the Golden Lord second, but I really like special summoning Golden Boy off of Glow Up Bloom. From here, we can activate our Cursed Outland and use Cursed Outland's effect. You guys would normally think to get a Vaquero or a Conquistador. In this particular situation, we're actually not going to be doing either of those. I'm actually going to add 7 Cities of the Golden Land. I'll activate 7 Cities of the Golden Land, and since my Unizombie is a level 5 monster and my Eldlich the Golden Lord is an Eldlich monster, we can fuse both of these monsters to be able to summon one of my favorite cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Eldlich the Mad Golden Lord. This card is actually a lot harder to get rid of than what people think. Basically what it does is that it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. It's also Eldlich in his name, so any of our Golden Land cards can pop off with this card on the field. It can also tribute a monster to take control of our opponent's monster permanently. So it's a really slept on and good card. And then we can even follow up by activating Eldlich the Golden Lord, sending the Cursed Outland. We could send the Golden Land, but I'm going to send the Outland in this particular situation, add the Golden Lord and summon it to our side of the field. Trigger the effect of Cursed Outland to be able to send Vaquero from the deck to the graveyard, and then link off with Golden Lord and our Doom King Ballardrock to be able to special summon or link summon into a Vampire Sucker. During our opponent's turn, of course, during the end phase, we're going to activate our Vaquero to be able to set to our side of the field our Eldlich or Scarlet Sanguine. And then during our opponent's turn, we'll special summon that Ballardrock and draw a free Yu-Gi-Oh card. So as you guys can see, in this particular situation, with that particular instance, I'm not going to call it a 4-card combo, but with those 4 Yu-Gi-Oh cards, we have the effect of Black Awakening for the next turn. We also have the Eldlich of Scarlet Sanguine to be able to protect our zombie world by special summoning to our side of the field another copy of Necro Banshee. We have Eldlich the Golden Lord, which can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. Our opponent's going to have a really hard time getting over this more often than not. And we have Vampire Sucker to continuously give us advantage, as well as Doom King Ballardrock to be able to negate and banish cards on the field, and all monsters on the field and graveyard are zombies. Well, that is pretty much all that we have for today's video. Zombie World Eldlich is a very grindy, slow-paced deck that will slowly eat at your opponent's brains until they're insane. Of course, if you want to hear about more rogue strategies, then go ahead and check out this video. And if you want to see Zombie Worlds in the YCS Summer Cup, well, all you gotta do is click on this one, or wait if you're seeing this video upon release. As always, I hope you guys are having an amazing day, as I'll catch you on the next video.